Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of this vitally important podcast series, How Qigong and Tai Chi Changed My Life. I have invited guests who are practitioners, teachers, people who have incorporated this very special modality into their lives. And I asked them to share a bio with me. I'm going to read it directly so that you can begin to understand how different practitioners are. Today, we have Russ McWhorter, who has been active in the martial arts since 1986. He holds a black belt in Kenpo, Karate, and has extensive experience in Wing Chun, Kung Fu, Filipino martial arts, and grappling. Today, he focuses solely on Tai Chi, valuing its martial effectiveness and gentler impact on the body. He has been practicing Yang style Tai Chi since 2001 and teaching in Colorado Springs since 2017. Certified by Tai Chi master Elaine Waters, Russ also is recognized as an Institute of Integral Qigong and Tai Chi Easy senior trainer and Healer Within senior trainer. Russ, hello. Thank you so much for coming here today.
Hey, it's my pleasure.
Honestly, so you have been practicing Yang style Tai Chi since 2021. You're coming into a quarter of a century.
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess I kind of like it.
Yeah.
It might just be something I stick with for a while. But yeah, back in 1986, I was starting martial arts when at an age when most people were giving it up. And, like a lot of people, you come in there and I just was wanting to be some martial tough guy, and then so like in 2001, that was when I started studying classical Wing Chun under Master Randy K. Lee. And I was actually driving from Omaha, Nebraska down to Kansas City twice a month to train with him.
Wow.
And yeah, it was like a 3-hour drive, but he had a 3-hour class, and the first hour was Tai Chi. So I was just kind of picking that up on the side while my primary focus was again that, martial side of Wing Chun and all that. And Master Lee, he was quite a colorful character and was truly an inspiration from a Qigong and Qigong master perspective. He could do things that I just won't even get into here, but he was a Qi healer and things like that just really set a high bar. And then, I actually met Master Waters while I was training with Randy Lee. And then I ended up some 10 years later, running into her out here in Colorado. And when I moved out here. And so I fell in under her. But like with both Master Lee and Master Waters, they really kind of were focused more on that martial side, which was what I was wanting. And the health effects were just kind of a curious side effect, like, oh, look at that. It's like this Reese's peanut butter cup, oh, I got martial effectiveness. Oh, I have good health. Hey, these work well together, so then I suffered a hip injury, and that was around 2011, and surgery was necessary, and so I used Tai Chi to recover from that, because again I couldn't do my Wing Chun Kung Fu because I couldn't turn my toes in. They said don't turn your toes in, and that's the primary stance in Wing Chun Kung Fu. So I used a very upright style of Tai Chi to help recover. and get my strength back. And that was the first thing that I could really do beyond just the standard physical therapy. And so, so there's one place, right there that, Tai Chi had a big impact on my life and just helping me get back to that, martial tough guy that I wanted to be.
So I wanted to ask you about this. I actually wasn't familiar with the phrase martial effectiveness. I mean, I know what the martial arts are. I know, the punching and the kicking and, but when you say, what do you mean by martial effectiveness?
Well, what I really mean by that is that, I had that broad experience. I had Wing Chun Kung Fu. I had like essentially a Jeet Kune Do, non-classical Wing Chun, classical Wing Chun, all of that. And then I really kind of, again, as I was recuperating, I found out, I'm like, I can essentially do anything I want to do from a martial perspective within the realm of Tai Chi. So that's what I mean, is like, I'm not going to kid myself. I couldn't get in there and grapple with some 20-something kid that's in there butting heads with people. Besides that, my hip might explode and I end up with my femur by my ear. But, so it's just, that's what I meant by martial effectiveness. Just like I've always said, it's like, I'm not the Shogun of Colorado Springs or anything like that, but I feel like I could handle myself, better than what I could before I did all these martial arts.
Yeah.
And really with martial arts, the more you look at them, the more they're really the same. It's just a style of presentation and how you get into it, that, suits you. And Tai Chi at my, my high mileage years, it suits me, so that's why I just kind of like eventually just said, I'm dropping everything else.
Yeah.
I'm sticking with the Tai Chi and just exploring that at a deeper and deeper level.
So a couple of things are coming up for me. Would you mind, you said, would you mind telling us, like, how old were you when you began to move? Well, I know the hip injury. I don't know, how old were you in 2011, or maybe even before that? You had already sort of begun to move into the Tai Chi. Like, the reason I'm asking this question is my intention with this podcast is to speak to different people. So I'm a woman who's 62. I can easily say that, but I want other people to see themselves as well. So where, about how old were you, in your 40s or?
Yeah, I was in my 40s, I think, when I started started Tai Chi, probably 40 straight up.
Yes.
And,
so you were kind of a pretty young man to get into this practice modality. And I want to tell you, probably when you did have a hip injury, it's, you were already served by the practice that you already had. That's been my experience. I got sciatica very, very bad. And I got through it more quickly, I think, and stronger because of this practice. But I really want to really speak out now to men or women or they in their 40s, early 40s, and say, join us on the train now. Don't wait.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and again, to be honest, there was something on Facebook, somebody said, like, if you could go back to your younger self, what would you say? And I commented, like, do Tai Chi first.
Yes.
Because you get this body awareness, and with that awareness, like, how every joint is moving and supporting each other, you get that, that whole mind body awareness, and then you can apply that any way that you want. And so, that's why I wish I went back to my younger self and said that. The first school I went to had karate, it had Filipino martial arts, it had Aikido, it had Kung Fu, and it had Tai Chi. Each class had a completely different personality. And that's why I go back to like, it's style. It's, how do you want to, move your body, and what resonates with you? And again, now Tai Chi resonates with me.
And
So
also, I want to let our viewers and our listeners know that you are my teacher. You were an instructor in the level 2 Tai Chi training that I completed, the certification with the Institute of Integral Qigong and Tai Chi, the IIQTC, headed up by Dr. Roger Yanka. And so, in my experience as your student, what I really appreciated was how, first of all, you always keep it real, but anybody who knows you knows that, even though I'm just getting to know you. But the most important thing is how you teach to do exactly what you just said. Make it yours, make it work for you, understand your sort of own body abilities. This I really got from you. And I also, of course, I was trained under Dr. Roger Yanka. That's his whole thing. You trained under these other people, but you've incorporated this in your teaching, to help us integrate it for ourselves for greater impact. So I want to say thank you for that. I always appreciated that about your style.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I like hearing that kind of feedback. And, the other thing that I do want to bring up is like say, my primary teachers did not really, they didn't emphasize that health aspect the way that we do in the IIQTC. The primary focus is Tai Chi as Qigong, and and it is this wellness practice. And so I do want to say this is like I get a well baby checkup every year.
Yeah.
And a couple of my genetic gifts are high cholesterol and high blood pressure.
Oh.
So there was one year I went in and they hand me my, here are your numbers. And I looked at it and I had to make sure that it was my name at
You
the
had to
top.
check your chart.
It was like, are you sure this is me? Did y'all get the blood work mixed up? Because it was the lowest my cholesterol had ever been.
Oh.
Ever, and in the green zone than since I've ever had a cholesterol test. And the only thing I did differently from the year before that, no changes in meds, no changes in diet, no changes in exercise routine, except for teaching more Tai Chi.
Oh, teaching more Tai Chi. That's interesting. So you also shared a quote with me that one of the things that is your fave is when a student says, this has helped me heal X. Did I get that right?
Yes, you did. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just like that's why I do this. And like I was showing you before, I'm going to step back and show this, shirt that was made for me by a group of seniors that has the yin yang symbol in tie-dye. I can't imagine how hard that was to get that right. And it's just, it's just so cool. It's that interaction that's really how it's changed my life. It's given me a platform to give back, not just, taking in and doing Tai Chi and learning, but also being able to give back and then have those people come up to me. My balance is better. My blood work is better. And my back is feeling better. Just things like that. That it's priceless.
Yeah. I mean, we got 3 B's there: balance, blood pressure, and blood and back. One of our colleagues told me in another episode, her eyesight is better and her sense of smell is better. And I'm here to say, I personally experienced improvement in my eyesight as well from regular Qigong and Tai Chi. That was the Qigong level, Qigong practice. And so, yeah.
Yeah. So that, again, that's one of the things that just becoming more aware. You become more aware of, how we're all connected. It's real easy. I like Dr. Yang Jung Ming's analysis of things. He says, the world today is a lot like the Matrix, the movie The Matrix, chasing after a shiny object, going over here and over there. But then, the real world is out there, and we're all connected. We're all breathing the same air, and that's one of the things, again, that I've noticed is just more aware of, like nature and where I'm fitting into that. And, so that's one of the things, that sense of a connection. So many things, serve to disconnect us. It's like sitting down at dinner with somebody and they're on their phone, things like that. They serve to disconnect you, as opposed to, being in that moment and relishing that moment.
Who was that? Who was that? Whom you just referenced? Because I want to also use this podcast to edify, other people as well. I didn't.
Dr. Yang Jung Ming, he's actually another very prolific, internationally well-known teacher.
Okay, I'm going to off screen. I'm going to get the spelling of that so we can promote the word. I learned in my training what's called the way.
Mm-hmm.
And people might reference the Taoist way, but honestly, just like you just said, how much you're sharing with us, that you've integrated the practice. I've just become more aware. I've become healthier. I've become more connected. This is so beautiful. This really, truly is life-changing. I basically just invoke the way in my regular conversation now with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really what you're talking about. This is, we are on the path or the way. We just have another minute or two. What would you like to say to people who might be thinking to themselves, I don't know, is this for me? What would you say to them?
I would say, well, honestly, it may not be. It may not be for you, but try it and invest in yourself. I know some people that are just, so highly strung. I can't imagine them in one of my classes, but, at the same time, I know it would help them. But, for me and someone who's contemplating this, just think about it. Like, I like to do my personal practice first thing in the morning. So I take that sense of calm, that sense of balance, and I take that out into the day. And when something tries to perturb that, then I have that, thought in my mind, and I can return to that spot. And just like I'm grounded, so they're coming up to me and going, yep, 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 yep. And that just can ground that out. And I can just sit there and go like, wow, settle down, take a breath.
Yeah. And I want to say to you, I get it. I believe you, because I experienced the same thing. And, some people kind of, as we are in our calm place, other people ratchet up. I love how honest we're being here. This is what everybody has been: direct, honest, keeping it real. Is this for me? Well, it may not be, but try it and see. Now, the thing that I've learned about Qigong, to be honest, we're just about to end. I just want to say, in the beginning, the very beginning, when I'm doing hands up, hands down,
Mm-hmm.
it took me a minute. And I'm here to say, from that time to this, I launched a podcast on the conversation. So Russ, I want to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your teaching. Thank you for your practice. Thank you for the energy you bring to a room. And I'll look forward to having a conversation again soon.
All right. Certainly. Thank you. It's been a pleasure anytime.
Thanks, Russ. Take good care.
All right. Bye.